So I found something that is quite interesting in light of all of the pedophilia in the Catholic Church, and that is that the Spanish Inquisition wanted to catch perverts in all of Spain. And so the Spanish government made a request to Pope Clement VII to be allowed to enact the Inquisition to catch perverts in all of Spain. The Pope said, "You may only catch perverts in the region of Aragon." So the Pope limited the Spanish Inquisition's authority to catch perverts only to one region of Spain. Nonetheless, the Inquisition to catch perverts was carried out in Aragon as per the permission of the Pope, and the Spanish government caught hundreds and hundreds of pedophiles. Hundreds of pedophiles were caught in Aragon. So why in the hell wouldn't the Pope want all of the perverts to be caught in the rest of Spain? It's very weird. It's very weird. And the Kingdom of Spain made a request to the Pope to catch perverts in all of Spain, and this request was denied. This request was denied. Why in the hell wouldn't the shepherd of the entire church want to catch perverts in the whole country instead of just one region? It's very strange. That request was made in 1524. The request to catch perverts all throughout Spain was made in 1524, and the rejection, the denial of this request was made in that same year. 1524. That's very interesting because in 1527, just 3 years later, there was a man by the name of Brandano de Petroio. Not a lot of people talk about good old Brandano de Petroio. Brandano de Petroio was a critic of the church. He was a monastic. He was a lay monastic, so I don't think he was a part of any sort of specific order. But nonetheless, he lived a monastic life, and he was a sort of John the Baptist, if you will. He would go to the ecclesiastical authorities, and he would criticize the papacy, and he would declare and announce and exclaim his outcry towards the papacy. And he actually got arrested at one point. Well, in 1527, just a dozen plus days before the greatest sacking of the Vatican in the history of the Vatican, Brandano de Petroio went to Pope Clement VII as he was giving his blessing to an entire crowd of Catholics, and he cried out to Pope Clement VII, telling him, "You sodomite bastard, because of your sins, God will destroy this city. God will have an invading army sack Rome." And about, 14, 18, a dozen plus days later, the forces of the Holy Roman Empire invaded Rome and committed the most destructive sacking, the most murderous sacking in the history of sackings of Rome. And that included the Vatican. It makes you wonder. Brandano de Petroio called the Pope a pervert. He called the Pope a sodomite. He said, "You sodomite bastard." And this was the very Pope who denied the request of the Kingdom of Spain the authority to arrest pedophiles and other perverts throughout the whole of Spain. It makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder. Why would the Pope want to protect pedophiles in the 1500s, my friends? In the 1500s, the Pope protected pedophiles from the Spanish Inquisition in the whole of Spain, except for one region. And why did he grant just one region? If I had to guess, it was because he wanted to show, hey, I care to a certain extent, but not really, not entirely. It was just a show, if I had to guess, a show of morality. But for the rest of Spain, Those pedophiles were protected, they were shielded from the Inquisition. Makes you wonder. And this was the same pope who Brandano de Petroio called a sodomite pervert. So even in the 1500s, pedophiles were being shielded. Even in the 1500s. That is pretty... that's pretty crazy. Anyway, you guys just heard some theology. God bless.